Hello and welcome to the Path of Least Resistance. This video is by request. We're going to be using 6-star Swain against the 6.5 and 5.5 star month or weekly challenges. For relics, we're using Guardian Angel, Riptide Battery, and Scourge's Stash. If you have Swain's Raven Army, I would put that here along with Packed Powder if you had that as well. So it would look something like that. And this lets you play Swain on round 1. It's pretty strong. But I want to show with less powerful relics. So we're going to be doing this instead. The reason we're using Guardian Angel, this is not something we normally use, is because in the NA region at least, the 6.5 star weekly does have the Scout Scheme. Scout Scheme is maybe the most difficult modifier because it puts you on a very strict time limit on how long you have until you just die from pulling puff caps. It also makes it so that any card that draws cards is significantly worse. You also have Jump Scare. When the foe draws a follower that costs 3 or less, they summon it and grant it +2/+2 and Fearsome. This is extremely powerful, especially along with Dudley. So it gives Fearsome to units that normally wouldn't have it, makes it more difficult to block. And so Guardian Angel just helps bridge that gap a little bit. I'm going to take Lethality. Perfection would be better, but Lethality is really good. Because Swain's Constellation power is your first 3 spells or skills. Each round deal 1 extra damage for each 5 health the enemy nexus is missing. Making it so that they are missing more health is obviously a good thing. And then my Swain is level 45 or 46, so he has a lot of health. I also have his bonus star, which gives extra health, so this will help reduce the effects of that Scout Scheme ability. We could attack here with both. It's not like the worst option. I'm gonna go ahead and choose to keep the Spellslinger alive because he can block Fearsome, but getting rid of the rest of my units is fine. Spell Shield is actually really bad there. So I was planning on stunning it, but we weren't able to respawn in time. However, we can use it twice. Noxing Guillotine is a pretty good pickup. Those Noxian Fervor. So, by triggering Plunder on the first one, and then using it again, we were able to block that guy. So Death's Hand is a typically very good spell for us. Because it draws a card, it can be a little bit dangerous here. I think we'll probably end up using it anyway. But we're going to just start with an attack here. And do 10 damage to the enemy nexus by killing our units. And then I think I'm gonna drop Swain. Scout Scheme is maybe the only modifier where I feel like Yasuo, even at low levels, might not be able to do it. Just because rounds end up going too long. And take Shunpo, so every spell we pick up because of the bonus star has Pyromantic Wake, and this will scale up with Crush the Weak, so taking spells is better than taking units in my opinion. And if you can get something like Jinx, get excited, plays twice, and that's really strong. I don't want to spend too many rerolls, so I'm going to take Fiddlesticks. That ensures that we'll draw Swain in hand. And we can also play Crowstorm as a Pyromantic Wake spell, but that's less significant. Again, we're going to drop our units here.
A little puncture and the Fang's turn.
And again, I'm fine sacrificing both of them. Because the important thing is that we do damage to that nexus. And there we just pulled 6 puff caps. That's really the problem with Scout scheme. And take a bit of damage here.
Gonna get bit.
So here we're going to want to trigger Plunder. We can do that by just attacking with everything. Because of lethality, we're doing that extra damage every time. Then we'll drop Swain. So we don't have any spell choices here. This has draw on it, otherwise I would consider taking it. This is only +2 in fearsome for 1 round. This should actually be fine. The playability will scale up with Crush the Weak, and we also have +1/+0, which will let us block fearsome. And then I think the shop is probably more powerful than the champion item chest. I'm gonna go that way. And black market discount is fine.
No one's the wiser.
Double Legion Saboteur is maybe my favorite
In position.
draw. And we'll give up one of them, just so we can do more damage to the enemy nexus. So we'll do 5 to everything, and we can also block with it. And I'm fine just removing the monkey idol. Next round we attack, win the game. That's a particularly good round. As you can see, the more damage we can do early on, the faster we complete. And yeah, it's just better. Faster is so much better. Flexible game plan is at game start, so it's probably okay to take. And giving Ravenous Flock Aromatic Wake is actually probably a good thing. This is our champion spell, and we're gonna run into it a couple times anyway. Also pretty strong as a spell. So here, if I were low on life, I would definitely heal. I have plenty right now, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna get rid of Shallow Siren, because the quick attack just kind of makes it less useful. And we go into Ornn. Ornn is annoying. The Forge ability is very strong. I'm gonna flip all of these. We didn't get a Legion Saboteur. Oh, no, we did from the draw. Which is nice. We'll play the Spider. Play Legion Saboteur. Gonna keep 2 units alive. Basically, the most important thing to do right now is survive this round. And this was kind of our way to do that. But we can stun, that should be okay. Also just play Swain, so this is a little risky. But I think it'll go okay. Yeah, we definitely killed enough units there that it was worthwhile. I'm just gonna block with the Legion Saboteur. I could have taken it maybe, that would have been okay. But we had already played 3 spells, so Crush the Weak wasn't gonna work on Ravenous Flock. I can stun ahead of time, then we can play Spellslinger and do extra damage that way. Or I could just stun again. I think that's actually better in this situation. So we can just get an attack in. Reducing their health, again, skills Crush the Weak. I know I keep saying that, but it's kind of how the whole thing works. We play this. Ornn's gonna attack us. That's probably not gonna be that good. But we do have Ravenous Flock, which will scale up and should just kill the enemy nexus. Also, we stunned him because Swain's on the board. So Dawning Age will give us some cost reduction, which is pretty nice. We do have 3 rerolls though, so I think we can do better. Skills do 2 extra damage. This will work on like Legion Saboteur and maybe a couple other things. Potentially on the Enraged Fire Spitter. I'm gonna go ahead and take that. It looks like it's probably pretty nice. I like Spells Chest on Swain because every spell you acquire does have Pyromantic Wake. If you get direct damage spells, those become extra good. So I'm happy taking a Spells Chest. Swain is one of the few champions where I really don't mind taking extra cards in my deck, as long as their spells are going to be worth so much. We're just going to do a little bit of damage here. We don't have really a way to attack. And that'll let us take advantage of Ravenous Flock next round. I think we can Shunpo. I mean, obviously we're not going to get the effective rally, but doing that extra damage will scale up Ravenous Flock even more. So right now we can clear everything on the board. And I'm just going to pass until they attack. Riptide Battery doing 21 damage. Double Riptide Battery actually seems like it'd be completely fine, considering. That was rude of them. I drop this guy, he'll do 13 damage, or 14 I guess, which will let our Pirouette do more damage. Pretty sure it's Pirouette. I don't know why I keep calling it Pirouette. Adding draw to that is kind of bad, but it's still the best card out of our choices. And Double Blade's Edge is actually a lot stronger than it looks. Can take Memory Game. And we can go for the shop. Normally you're going to want to avoid Minotaur Reckoner on most champions. Minotaur Reckoner has unlimited stuns. Takes a long time to die. Very strong. So normally you avoid, but in a Swain deck I have a lot less concerns. Gonna pass, let them play. We didn't want to get stunned here. Debating Spellslinger. I think maybe holding mana will be better. And obviously we're sacrificing the Ephemeral so that we can get more damage into the enemy nexus. Might Ravenous Flock here. Probably better next round. But we can take advantage of the fact that we play 3 spells if we do it now, because later we're going to want it for something else. And drop the Legion Saboteur because it's fleeting. We can block with one of them. And then we use our Ravenous Flock. So he made that stronger, so this won't kill it. I think we're going to do 2 damage and stun here. And because of Pit Fighter, this guy is dead. Unfortunate, but what can you do? Here we're going to want to trigger Plunder before we play Swain, just because it'll reduce the cost. And then when Swain comes down, Cannon Barrage will do a lot of damage, and we do need to wait till next round to win because our stuff isn't active, but I guess our units dying finished it off for us. I think I want more Blade's Edge, it does play twice. You can take Survey Core as a blocker. That'll be relevant sometimes. And we can get rid of our worst card, which is probably Iron Legionnaire. We go into Viego. Because Viego makes a bunch of ephemerals, he's going to take a bunch of damage. And that'll be good. I said early that Blade's Edge is very strong, and I believe in that. Again, we're just attacking to trigger damage. We can play Swain for not exactly free, but cheap here, so may as well. If our Swain dies, we'll just replay and that'll be strong as well. This will clear most of the board. I'm going to drop the Spell Slinger just to finish it off. Yeah, we attack. These are doing 10, so as you can see, this one thing that does 10, played twice, actually becomes 56 damage, which is why I said that Blade's Edge is stronger than it looks. Because of that, you can also pick that up as the Bouncing Blade's power. It's a common. It won't be able to play twice, but you'll get it every round. It'll scale up as you go on. I think you do need to find it naturally for it to get Pyromantic Wake. And the 5.5 Nightmare is against Galio. Special rules are read as her lips. Round start, deal 1 to all units and grant the foe's units +0/+3. It's actually really strong power. You also have Endure. When the foe summons a unit, grant it +2/+2. This gets multiplied by Deadly. So basically everything's going to have a ton of life to deal with, which is probably fine, but we might end up taking some damage that we otherwise wouldn't. Since we don't need Guardian Angel because we're not dealing with Scout Scheme anymore, we can switch to the second Riptide Battery, Based on how like the last adventure went, second Riptide battery would have been fine as well, but I think a lot of it was actually carried by lethality as a power. Without lethality, things would have taken a lot longer, would have taken more damage, and take nothing but powder monkeys too. Every round, a powder monkey will die, dealing damage to the nexus. You can also open with it. Just start with an attack and trigger plunder. So you don't have to worry about finding alternate sources of plunder. For example. So you don't really have a good way to deal with this. You can stun one of them. Oh, and I've luckily got elusive here. When you play a spell, you give your weakest ally elusive, so that was nice. You can see just like how much Endure is doing for like the health pools of the opponents. And at the end of the day, we're still playing Swain, so it's still fine. Ruination's kind of tempting, but I think it's maybe played a little bit too late. I don't know if that we ever use Celestial Trifecta. I'm gonna take it anyway because I don't want to spend a reroll here. It has Blooming Bud with Pyromantic. I guess it's kind of the only thing, so it's also Bone Skewer. I think Lily is a little bit better. And we can go this way to remove a card. Also avoids the Messenger, which can be very difficult. So we don't start with a Swain in hand, which isn't great. But he's not necessarily the win condition of this deck. But now that we have him, we're definitely going to play him. Attack while nothing can block. Go ahead and sleep that unit. Decimate with Blasting Sigil is kind of insane. And we'll get rid of, I think, Celestial Trifecta I don't actually want. Did only need one Swain in hand. Gonna pass. Now that everything's on the board. And we've done enough damage that Pirouette can kill... Actually, they gained life. Because of Register Lips. Well, we were fine, now we're less fine, but it's okay. We have Ravenous Flock. Still wait for the attack. That way all of the units can be on board. We're gonna Ravenous Flock here. And then we're also going to do that. This will kill all of the units. Well, all of them except for the one we stunned. I think it's worth playing the Legion Saboteur here even though we had an open attack, because these will be scaled up. As you can see, without lethality I have a lot less damage scaling. In the other adventure I was winning more convincingly earlier on. A Static Shock has to be played when we pick it up, but I think it's still fine. I'll take the shop. Took Evolve, it's not like the best power or anything. Get rid of Arachnoid Sentry. Go into Anivia. So Anivia can get Lord Eldred on round 1. If that happens, your life is significantly harder than if that doesn't happen. So we'll get rid of Static Shock because we don't want to play it immediately, we want to hold it for later. Same deal here, we just pass. I think we can pass one more time. Then we play. They might still have one more card that they can play, but I wasn't willing to risk it. Drop Legion Saboteur. So we've scaled our spells decently, we have like a +4 on them. And can't really do anything about that. It's fine. Actually I could have shot earlier, and then the damage would have triggered Swain's power, and then it would have stunned. And you can see this Decimate with the double damage does 22. That's pretty good. You really want to lean into cards like that, where you just do double damage twice. It's really strong. And we're offered lethality again, so we'll take it. If you get perfection, that's even better. If you get something like explosive entrance or spell burn, those are also very good. I'm fine with this hand. Gonna pass. Thought they were gonna attack us, but they didn't. Gonna take the open attack here, we're gonna win this round. We can use Death's Hand if we want. And then we saved enough mana for Decimate, this does 52 damage. Take Blade's Edge again. It's not as good because it doesn't play twice, but it should be fine. Didn't really find anything I wanted there. So generally speaking, I would say avoid Tiana. But it's Swain, so it doesn't really matter. Not even looking at the cards I'm taking right now. Yes, let them play a card. They might drop Cytheria after this. There it is. Should have waited. I think it's ideal to just kind of pass and let them do whatever they're doing here.
Get him.
Well, Blade's Edge for 11 damage. And then Decimate's doing 30. Bringing into Static Shock. Pass here. Remove a card. Maybe Iron Legionnaire? We go into Galio. I assume they start with a Galio on board. We're just keeping our damage spells here. Okay, they start with Shyvana instead. I think I would be uncomfortable passing again here. But potentially they have another card. I just don't know Galio's deck well enough to have a good sense of whether I should pass or just take advantage of this. Passing was correct. Obviously we're going to get attacked here. So we'll deal 4 to anything, then we can stun a unit. Like something like that. I'll make it so Shyvana doesn't level up. We do have a Swain hiding in there, and we do want to pull him out. Did pull Blade's Edge, which is nice. It'll do a bunch of damage. And I'm fine releasing my Swain now. I mean, I've wanted him for a while. He's the Blade's Edge here, does 20 damage, stuns all the units, which gives us an attack, which is good enough to win the game. That's it. Obviously this was much easier than Jump Scare plus Scout Scheme. But you are looking for spells and you're looking to scale up your damage by doing things like picking lethality and killing your units. Or just picking a lot of spells so that you have a bunch of sources of Pyromantic Wake. And then all of that scales up as Crush the Weak scales up. And then, yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you win. You can play defensively, just remove all of their units from the board, make sure they're all stunned, stuff like that, so that you don't die. Dying is kind of difficult, but it can happen, especially if you have a modifier like the Scout Scheme, where you're just taking a bunch of damage, and then everything has Fearsome as well here, so it can make it difficult to block. But if you are looking for ways to keep them stunned, and as long as Swain's on the board, they'll be stunned, I would do something like that. For relics, you could use Pact Powder here. This will make it so that Swain always costs 1, and then you just need to find a way to do 1 damage, which you can do by just attacking and letting one of your units die. And then you could play Swain on round 1. If you do that, you maybe don't want Riptide Battery because Cannon Barrage would only play 1 time. You could use something like Stalker's Blade maybe, or Curator's Gatebreaker if you really wanted, but I don't think that's really good because he only has 3 attack. So yeah, I don't know. And then you also have options for things like Guardian Angel, or I don't know. What I showed you is what I would do. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this gives you a sense of this can's payload isn't terrible, but the Pow-Pows do cost 2 instead of on Jinx where they cost 1. But they are a thing that is at burst speed and deals damage to all the units because of your spell cleave. Anyway, hope that helps. As always, if you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.